While the United States has been at the forefront in the push for regime change in Venezuela, the U.S. is dialing back its presence in other global affairs. Consider some of the headlines we've seen. Withdrawing U.S. troops from Syria. Considering pulling U.S. troops out of Afghanistan, withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord, the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Agreement, and the Iran nuclear deal, and threatening at least twice to pull the United States out of NATO. Well, in his new book, The Empire and the Five Kings, America's Abdication and the Fate of the World, which went on sale today, philosopher, filmmaker, and activist Bernard-Henri Lévy argues that those actions have allowed other countries and groups to try and fill the void left by the U.S. retreat. He calls them the Empire and the Five Kings. That refers to Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, and Sunni radical Islamism. Bernard-Henri Lévy joins me now. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here, and congratulations on the release of the book. You put out a tweet ahead of the release of the book in which you say, The Empire and Five Kings on sale, too much Trump talk blocks us from seeing the real danger. Russia, Iran, China, Turkey, MBS. I love America. I wouldn't exist without her. I humbly plead for the U.S. to recover its lost moxie. Look, you share a view that a lot of people have, including our viewers, that Donald Trump and what he does sucks a lot of the oxygen out of every room. But your argument is that's real oxygen. Other things are happening of consequence because we are occupied with one thing.
Number one, it's true that it is a book about moxie. From outside, what we love in America is moxie and creed. Creed in values, freedom, democracy. Moxie, which is to behave in front of these bad guys, of these rogue states, as a real power.
Right.
Number two, you are right about oxygen. Look at this story about the wall. The wall, the wall, the wall. I just, in the green room, listened to Donald Trump saying that he wants a lot of walls. Come on. He's withdrawing his troops from the places where really we are defending, you are defending, and we are defending the West, our freedoms. And he wants to make some walls. When you make too many walls, you lose oxygen, you look openness to the other, and you lose the moxie and the creed of America.
So you write about this in an interesting way about imperialism. You said the United States is a power, but one that never entirely sought empire's glory. It is an empire, if you will, but a recalcitrant one, whose nobility has always been to balk at imperialism. And then you wrote, it has sometimes looked like an imperialistic empire, but a clumsy, awkward one, sometimes too heavy-handed, at other times too quick on the draw. But ultimately, for 80 years now, the United States has led the Western liberal movement.
Yeah, but it is not an imperialism. Russia is an imperialist power during the Soviet Union and today with Putin. Iran is an imperialist power. Look at Damascus and Baghdad. China is a real imperialist power who really wants to have an influence, a bad influence of the rest of the world. And so on. MBS, the man who killed Khashoggi in such a savage way and who is covered by, alas, again, the current president of America.
Absolutely.
He is a sort of imperialist. America is a reluctant imperialism. There is a word which I use in the book, which is like that America has always been a reluctant Roma, a Roman empire, but reluctant to be so. This is a nobility of America.
One of the things that you talk about in terms of news from the book, they see the origin of the invasion of fake news in the cynicism of a handful of populist leaders who in the West and elsewhere have claimed the Orwellian power to decide where the truth lies and where it does not. Leaders who understand how useful the systemic manipulation of history and its narratives can be in their power struggles at home as well as in their foreign adventures. The Five Kings may appear to be paper tigers, but they have serious weakness underneath.
About the fake news, first of all, it is true that we are living a new crisis of the truth. The very value of the truth is under attack. We less and less know where is the truth and where is the non-truth. This is the origin of fake news. And it's not only Google and Facebook. It comes from deeper in our history. So I make in this book an analysis on how this attack against the value of truth was undertaken since long. Number two, these 5 kings, which are occupying the void left by America in its retreat, will they prevail or not? I think that they are strong, that they are a disaster, first of all, for their own people before than being for us, but I think that they can lose. They can lose for a single reason. To be really an empire, you need more than weapons. You need more than force and even more than trade. You need a vision of humanity. You need an address to the rest of the world. America, when it was a reluctant empire, the West had an address, had a message, had a creed. There is the creed in exceptionalism. It is a creed. The idea of the
one that has faced some criticism.
Of course, and it created a lot of evil too. Yeah. But there was a creed. The shining city upon the hill, I can tell you, in the bad places of the world, in the battlefields of Kurdistan, among the fighters of Afghanistan, fighters for democracy, it had a meaning. The shining city upon the hill. When I was in Pakistan investigating, I tell that in the book about the death of Daniel Pearl, the journalist of Wall Street Journal, among the Democrats, it had a meaning. What is the message today of the Chinese? What is the shining city upon the hill of Vladimir Putin?
And you're going to have to read the book to get the answer. Bernard-Henri Lévy, great to see you. Thank you so much. Bernard is the author of The Empire and the 5 Kings, America's Abdication and the Fate of the World.